What's up, YouTube? You're Inside the Edge, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to get into some NBA topics. Today, we're going to talk about Demar DeRozan. There's been a lot of reports surfacing around his name, what is a possible landing spot for him. You know, it's been a roller coaster for him being in San Antonio. If you guys don't know, he was obviously traded there from the Kawhi deal. So he didn't choose to go to San Antonio, and it seems like there's been a lot of reports from the Blitz, the Athletics, that are coming out saying that he's not happy being in San Antonio. So, you know, right now he has a player's option that's $27.7 million. That's on the table for this offseason for him. But I think it's going to be hard for other teams to look at that, other GMs to look at that number and say, hey, we want to bring this guy in. But you know, from the looks of things, I mean, DeMar DeRozan, you know, he's kind of been, shadowed being in San Antonio. You know, we known about him playing with Toronto and, you know, the great seasons he's had, the playoff runs. But just coming to San Antonio and being alongside Rudy Gay and a lot of these young players, I mean, it just seems like it's not really a good fit for him. And he's not happy. And, you know, now, he has an opportunity to try to go elsewhere and try to force his way out. Obviously, playing alongside, Deontay Murray, Derek White, Kalon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, a lot of these young players in San Antonio, I mean, they're the future for the Spurs. I don't think DeMar DeRozan is the future for the Spurs. And I would say the same thing about Rudy Gay. I might have to make a separate video, but, even with Rudy Gay, I mean, I feel like, these guys are eventually going to enter the twilight of their career. With DeMar being 31 years of age, I don't want to call him old. He still has some time, obviously. But throughout his 2 seasons with the Spurs, just from last year, I mean, he did play 34 minutes. He did get his minutes. He averaged 22.1 points. His field goal percentage was at 53.1, which is good, which is pretty solid. His 3-point number isn't good. He only shot 25.7%. He did average 5 rebounds and 5.6 assists. So he did, build an all-around game around himself playing with the Spurs, definitely as an all-around player. But, it's just kind of like a big question mark on what's next for DeMar now. Looking at his game, like I said, he's not, a 3-point shooter. He's more of a slasher, a long, lanky, slasher that can get to the bucket. He does have a good mid-range jumper to his game, which is pretty smooth. But, outside of that, a lot of teams, a lot of GMs are really looking for superstar players that can be like that, that knockdown shooter. For some reason, shooting is just so valuable. And I just, with that not being in his arsenal, I think it's harder for teams to really commit to him. But, how I look at it, I think DeMar, he's definitely going to fit. He should definitely go to a team or a team like the Lakers, maybe the Clippers, the high-powered teams, maybe Milwaukee. I think they should offer him a deal and, take that $27 million and, bring him along to a title run because, DeMar, I think it's safe to say he's not a number 1 option player on a championship team. He's not a number 2. I would say he's a number 3 player on a championship team. And I think, him being on a competitive team that wants to win, I think that's what DeMar needs to be on. I think that's the wave that he needs to be on. And there's going to be, there's a couple options like I mentioned. I think DeMar DeRozan, I think him going to, like I said, the Lakers, the Clippers, possibly Milwaukee. I think those are some destinations for him, or even Dallas. I would love to see him in Dallas. I think that can be an opportunity for him to play at a high level and, not be forced to be that number 1 guy. We know he's not that number 1 guy, but if he can play around other superstars, I think that's going to elevate his game, and I think that's going to give him some more clarity and be more happy as well. Like I said, being in San Antonio, playing with the younger guys, Lonnie Walker and guys like that, I think, and he knows it himself, the San Antonio Spurs is not a good fit for him, and he's not the future for this team. He's just, that's what kind of sucks about, the NBA when you look at the business side of things, because it wasn't his choice to go to San Antonio. He was traded there, and, obviously it's not working out. And, the numbers are still there, like I mentioned, averaging 22 points, and I said he's still getting his minutes with averaging 34 minutes per play. He's getting his minutes, but I think the fit there is just not working out for him, and there's going to be a lot of options for him to go. And like I said, for me, I believe, a GM should, do their background check and, consider bringing this guy in for a title run. That's the player that DeMar is. He's not a number one player. He's a guy that's going to be your third option, but also be a star player. Like I'm not going to be on here trying to play DeMar. I definitely think he's a star player. He's a star caliber player. I definitely think he's above average. And if he can go set himself for a team like the Lakers, I think he can be a contributing factor and be a X factor on the team. So, with DeMar DeRozan, like I said, his numbers are still good. He's still averaging over 20, shooting over 50%. I still think he has a lot left in the tank, even though he's, at the age of 31. I still think he can contribute and play, longer years in the NBA. So, the big question to him is, the biggest question is what team is going to take that contract, that $27 million, and bring him into their organization, and what team is going to bring him in is the big question. The struggles with him is his shooting ability. I think that's the one knock against him, and that's why some people don't really put him, quote unquote, being a superstar, because he doesn't have that arsenal in his game. Like I said, he's athletic finisher, and to average 5 assists as well. Like I said, that's pretty good. Averaging 6 rebounds. So he's pretty much an all around offensive player, and his defense is pretty well. So I don't see DeMar being an elite player. Even if he was to go to a contending team, I still wouldn't put him as an elite player, but I would say he's a good to great player. He's above average, and his name is just kind of swiggling right now, along the league right now. So I'm really anticipating to see where does DeMar wants to go next, because San Antonio is just not a good fit for him. And then I would say the same thing with Rudy Gay. They're not the future for San Antonio. So I think it's time for DeMar DeRozan to go elsewhere. And, maybe Toronto, he might even, consider that. I know he loved Toronto, and it's not up to him, but, if the Raptors got enough cap, they can maybe use him and utilize him and, go back to Toronto and, possibly go for that title run. But, I just wanted to make this quick video for you guys. If you ask me, I would say the Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, Dallas. You guys can give me a 15. If you guys are listening to this, drop a comment below. What do you guys think? What do you think he should land? What are some teams you think should go after DeMar DeRozan and acquire him and go for a title run? I want to hear your guys' opinion. This video is about you guys. I want to hear your guys' opinion. But you guys give me that 5th team, and you guys tell me in the comment below. But, I definitely wanted to just speak on DeMar DeRozan because it seems like he's a ghost in the NBA right now. And, for obvious reasons, playing in San Antonio is not a sexy place. It's not a place that we've been watching, the Spurs, ever since Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Ginobili leaving. It seems like a lot of us are not really paying attention to the Spurs. And for them to not make the playoffs as well has been very disappointing. I mean, they broke a streak of, they were like one of the they were like the active team that was making the playoffs consistently, and that just, that went out the window last season when they did not make the playoffs with DeMar on the team. So that, that's definitely a conflict that he has within the organization. They're looking at him like, we brought you in to be this number one guy, and this is not who you are. So, like I said, I believe he's going to be a third option on a championship team, which is not bad. So I want to hear your guys' opinion. Drop a comment below, subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff, man. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.